Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home. My name is Rod McCall.
And I'm Scott Nichols.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your and Eileen's relationship? 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high.
I would have to say a 10.
Okay. Why?
I just, in all of our years together now, I think we've grown so together on things that, we rarely have any arguments. We know what we want, and we're able to, move forward professionally and personally and spiritually and everything. And we're going the same road. I just think that everything is pretty smooth with us. It's not to say that everything's perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
In our lives as a whole, right? Like I wish I was richer, but
Don't we all?
And so does she. But we aren't. But we're happy with who we are and where we are.
Okay, but here's the thing. To say that you're happy, you guys must engage in big events. For example, huge surprise vacations. Like a 2-week stay at Disney, baby, just because.
I mean, I don't know about 2 weeks, but 1 week, 3 or 4 times a year works for us. So
okay, so you do big things, and you have dramatic moments where you show your love to her for all to see, right?
I can, yeah.
Okay, because that is really what having a great relationship is about.
Is it? Okay.
I'm asking. I'm saying you've been married for over 30 years. You guys are great. You hardly argue. Yeah. So you must do these really big things to keep the spark alive, right?
I mean, we definitely do whatever it takes, right? I haven't read a lot of books on it or done any of that, but, I know her well, and I try to make sure that she's happy.
So could it be more than just big things?
Yeah,
you're saying there's little things you do too.
I think big things are nice to relieve the stress of, daily life. Every once in a while, have something to look forward to. And maybe sometimes it's a surprise. That's harder to do nowadays, right? Like if I buy plane tickets,
she's going to see it.
I'm trying to get her, number on it too, so that she gets miles and, it's going to pop up on her phone. So she's going to know about it. But also, like, we have schedules, so have to kind of check in on some things, right? I need to have that respect. But having things to look forward to is nice. Having quick surprises like, hey, you know what? Let's go to the movies tonight.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like
sure.
That is a refreshing thing. Let's not do the usual thing that we do tonight. Let's just go out and enjoy. Go to the movies, right? It's been a stressful week. Mm-hmm. Just do something fun.
I love it. The reason why I love it is because I totally agree with you. And here's, having, been married twice, and having the opportunity to fail and try again has been really good. And I've learned a lot of things. And so when I ran across this article by psychologist Mark Travers, I'm going, okay.
Right.
And because a lot of times, and I feel like we may have done something like this in years past, but it's always nice to come back and revisit. But Mark Travers says that successful, happy couples they can do the occasional grand things, like you're talking about a big trip to Disney or something of that sort. But he says, for the most part, it comes down to small, consistent habits. Mm-hmm. And we do these daily, we do these weekly. And in fact, he narrowed it down to 5. And he said, happy, successful couples do these 5 daily behaviors, and they do them consistently.
Daily.
And these are small things.
Okay.
These are minor things. These are little things. But he says by doing these things, that not only are they strengthening the relationship, they are reducing conflict. They're deepening the emotional connection that you and your partner, you and your spouse have. And over time, it builds an insurmountable mountain of love and happiness.
Okay, well, I'm going to compare this to my experience.
Okay.
I'm going to see if he's right.
Okay. We can do that.
I think he's right.
Okay. So and I've shared this on more than one occasion, and I truly do believe this. Relationships are like a bank account. Mm-hmm. You've got to put in more deposits than you make withdrawals.
Okay.
When you are in tough situations, when you're in stressful situations, you're pulling withdrawals from that relationship bank account. when you do little things, when you do small things, when you do even big things, you're making deposits. But if you, like a bank account, that relationship account has to be more in the black than in the red.
Okay, so not like my actual bank account.
That is correct. Okay. So to fill that relationship bank account, all right, to build these healthy things, the first thing he says is have a shared morning routine. Okay.
So that's interesting.
So it can begin, these are not required, but these are things, suggestions possibly. But for example, start the day with some kind of small physical contact, a hug, a kiss, a holding hands. What this can relate or release is what they call the bonding hormone or oxytocin. Mm-hmm. All right. Even a couple of moments of closeness in the morning can reinforce these feelings of safety and connection that you have with this person that you love above all else. Mm-hmm. So again, some kind of small physical contact. Other things, small acts of partnership, making breakfast together, making the bed together, sitting side by side. But we are partners. Basically, what you're saying is we are partners together today in whatever life throws at us. Mm-hmm. Something else you can do to start your morning is a quiet moment together. Maybe you're drinking your coffee, a short, quiet conversation, or just simply sitting alone. Now, Sherry and I have been doing this.
That's not together.
Well, but you're together.
That's alone.
Sorry. Simply sitting together.
Okay.
My bad, misspoke. Thank you very much for catching me. But you're sitting together. You don't have to be talking. You can just simply be physically next to one another. What that does is it creates a little bit of calmness before the chaos of the day.
Okay.
And the last thing you can do potentially in the morning is start it with some kind of positive energy, encouragement, some kind of appreciation, because that can help shape the atmosphere of the day. You're starting it out on a positive note. So, ta-da, that gives you a little credit to begin rather than starting off the day with a negative.
Right.
So these are just a couple of examples of things that we can do. But these are, so how do you guys
I think it's great. So like we have, and I want to say, we've been together for a long time, but only in the past year or two have we really developed a morning routine that is, I would say, more symbiotic, right? Like we both want certain things in the morning for ourselves, and some of that includes time alone and quiet space, right? Mm-hmm. And so and for us, it's not necessarily sitting next to each other. We do have some, contact, a kiss or whatever in the morning, and then having our coffee. We live in a small apartment, right? So we have our coffee in separate spaces so that we can have our own space to get ready for the day. She has her routine she does for that. I typically read a book for an hour, whatever I'm reading. Mm-hmm. It just, it's just light. It gets me thinking about things, and it's not very heavy, right? Mm-hmm. Just overall. And then, we go about, we've gotten to a place where, there's only one bathroom. So like we go about, our days as far as using those spaces in a way that is not intrusive to the other. We've gotten really good at it.
Sure.
And so I think that it does allow us to start positive. It allows us the spaces we need. Sometimes it gets interrupted, right? Mm-hmm. We start our day awfully early at like 4 a.m. But I typically occupy the bedroom while she occupies the living room. And so she doesn't get up at 4. My routine is somewhat upset. Mm-hmm. And so I have to adjust. Mm-hmm. But I do that so that she doesn't have, she can have whatever she needs for that moment. And I think that's important. So it's not only important to have a shared routine, but I think it's important to know when to adjust for that other person so that it might need to change temporarily. I think that's important as well.
How you start your day has, in my humble opinion, vast amounts of power in dictating how the rest of your day will go.
Sure. That's why Atomic Habits says, get up and make your bed. And I think that's why the military does that. Mm. Get up and make your bed. You started your day on a positive note. You took care of something.
All right. So of these things, you do at least one of them. All right. Well, you do two of them because you have a little physical connection.
Sure.
And
I think we do the others. I just don't think we do it exactly the same way that we're describing it here. But
okay.
I think that how you do it is okay as long as you do it together.
So we can say that you guys have built a shared morning routine.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So next thing that is the second item that is on our checklist is staying connected through thoughtful check-ins.
Mm-hmm.
It could be something as simple as a thinking of you text. Hope your meeting goes well. That kind of thing. Or, just a little, I'm thinking about you.
Right.
Something like that. Celebrating small wins. Congratulations. You did. Yeah, I'm glad that meeting went well. Or, hey, I'm glad you got recognized by the boss.
Right.
It could be so far as encouraging, just something encouraging when things are a little stressful, when things are a little kind of pushing down on your spouse, your partner. Well, then give them a little supportive pat on the back, a little, whatever it might be. But also, and this is where I think I'm getting a little bit better. Sherry would probably maybe not entirely agree, but being emotionally or being aware of your partner's emotions, being able to, I guess, maybe read the room, as I put that in air quotes. These are little things that we can do through the day to just say, hi, how are you? I'm thinking of you.
And I have to say that I think all of these things can be lost in a marriage or in a relationship as time goes on. But if you think about what these really are, if this was a fresh relationship, you were just starting out, you would do all these things.
Oh, yes, you would.
Right. And so, I do all these things now, and my wife does as well. And, we're 35 years in. So, to being together as a whole, not married, but being together as a whole. So, since we met, and we still do these things. And oftentimes I say, when does the honeymoon end? Because I still feel the same way as I did when I first met her. And I think that this is part of the reason, right? I keep it up. Texting makes it easy, right? Like I can text all those fancy little emojis with the red hearts on them, and just be like, hey, I love you, just in a moment, right? And she just sends back a smile or a I love you back or whatever. I've even done this with my kids, my girls, right? Just, hey, hope you're having a great day. Love you. Those kind of things that let somebody know that you're thinking about them is really powerful. Well, I know when I get one and somebody's like, hey, I was thinking of you, that meeting you're going to have or whatever, what time is it at? Or, hope it goes well or whatever. Just knowing that somebody else actually thinks of you is a really positive thing.
It goes back to treat others as you would want to be treated.
Sure.
And when you're doing that with your relationships with others, especially with the person that you treasure above all else, it's powerful. And at the end of the day, how long does it take?
Yeah. I mean, not very long at all. Now, my caution would be on the last point that you made, which was about emotional awareness, would be that you have to just listen.
Yeah.
Like sometimes that person just wants to vent and doesn't need a fixer.
Have you been listening to Sherry? Because she tells me too often, I just want to vent. I don't want you to fix it. I don't want you to correct it. I don't want your dang commentary.
No, I'm just saying that this comes from years of hearing that. And it's finally sunk in that I just need to listen. I don't need to fix it. Sometimes somebody talking out their own stuff, they solve their own problems and they don't need me to intervene and maybe create new ones.
Yeah.
Just let them talk.
I need to get better. That is one area that I truly need to work on getting better.
But you're a professional counselor, so it's like some people come to you and they want those things. Now, and maybe the strategy is, you came to me wanting those things, but really you just need to get it out. But, whatever that may be. But I think in my layman kind of knowledge here and in the relationship that I have, because you would never want to counsel somebody who you're in relationship with either.
No.
But that's a situation of I have to hold back from fixing the problem. I'm a fixer. I want to fix things. I like taking things apart, putting them back together, fixing things up, making them shiny new. And when I hear somebody's problem, it gets my hackles up and I want to fix it. And I have to stop myself from doing that. And so being emotionally aware and just being like, I'm here. I'm here. That's all I am. You can say what you want. I'm not going to get offended. I'm not going to get hurt. I'm not going to whatever. I'm just here. I'll listen. I think that's really important.
Well, and here's where that ties right in with the next thing. And it's basically making sure that we have intentional time to reset. And that could be creating a space to decompress. Sometimes we got to be a little bit of alone. And so doing things by ourselves, engaging in personal activities, whether it's exercising. You mentioned a little bit ago you like to wake up and you're going to read your book, and whatever book you're reading, your flavor of the day. But that's you. That's your time to kind of get ready. I know my dad would wake up and he would do the same thing. He would read in the mornings. Me, I like to, just play a game, just kind of just decompress, but just kind of set myself. Because this kind of, by doing these things, you're allowing yourself to have a little bit of emotional spillover.
Right.
And when you're centered, you're able to be there more for your partner.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to be together 24/7. Just when you're not at work, you don't have to be together. And so, these are things that, like Sherry doesn't mind when we come and podcast because that gives her.
My wife loves it.
She's
like, you're out of the house. So, and I'm like, so you want me to leave? And she's like, well, I'm not saying that, but I do enjoy it when you're gone.
Thank you. And Sherry says something similar to that. And I like my alone time.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, I like my alone time.
Right.
I don't want a ton of it, but at the same time, I do need a little bit of it. So recognizing that is, again, one of these simple steps, some activity that we can do.
And I think everybody knows this. We have words for it, right? It's called Mental Health Day.
Yes.
Right. So people are like, oh, I'm going to take a mental health day.
I've been hearing that more over the last, since COVID.
Yeah. And it's a good thing, right? And so my wife will do that. My wife and I will do that. Sometimes we happen to take it on the same day. And being emotionally aware, I will say something like, I didn't take this off so that I could, intrude on your day. I actually have some other things I'm going to do. I'm not going to be here. Like, you can just do your thing. I'm going to be doing my thing. So, taking those days, particularly if you have paid time off, right? Like, that's like, use them. That's what they're there for.
I miss that. I don't have that now.
Sure.
In this no work, no pay environment. But
right.
I get it. That is, I enjoyed my taking those PTO days when I was teaching because Lord knows I did need them.
Yeah. And sometimes you just need to get some things done. For me, part of my alone time is to, pop some headphones on, put the music up, and do whatever I'm doing. I can get things done. I just really enjoy that, like tuning out by tuning into something that I like to hear.
And again, it's one of these things I share frequently with, especially my adult clients that are parents. When you are on the airplane and they're running through the safety briefing and they are talking about the oxygen mask when it pops down, who do they tell you to treat first? Who do they tell you to put the oxygen mask on?
Certainly kids, but whoever's next to you, right? Make sure that if you've got elderly people or children, right, you take care of them first and then, no, they do. They'll tell you to take care of yourself.
Exactly my point. Because
I remember it now.
Okay, well, you fly a lot more than I do.
I know, and I just never listen.
Because we've heard it so many times. But the idea is take care of yourself first so that you can be there to take care of others. And that's, I think, the point here for a successful relationship. You've got to make sure that you have a little bit of time for self-care.
Right.
So, okay. So
I love how you were looking at me like, what are you talking about? That's not what they say. That's what people were thinking they say.
Okay.
They don't say that. Yeah. Take care of yourself first.
Well, here's the other thing. And I know that you and Eileen do this. I know Sherry and I do this. But it's called making us time. Yes, you have your private alone time. Okay. But then there's the time where you're spending time deliberately together.
Sure.
And it's, by doing so, you're protecting that relationship. And these are times that are just for us. For Sherry and I, it's usually in the evenings. We'll eat dinner together, and then we'll watch TV.
Same.
And
usually TV watching turns into both of us falling asleep on the couch.
Okay.
And then waking up and going, did we just miss a whole episode? So,
okay.
Sometimes we have to back up, try again.
So here's the thing, and I'm not as good at this, but they also say when you're having this time, just you and your spouse, remove distractions. And that frequently includes our phones. And I am not as good. Now, when we are at home, we'll eat dinner, but we'll watch TV while we're eating dinner. And while we're watching TV shows, we will both be on our phones, kind of, watching TV, but we're maybe playing a game.
Yeah.
But I will say that when we go out for dinner, the phones are away.
Yeah.
We're out to dinner. We are together. This is our time. And for the most part, phones, if you got to play your game while we're at dinner, then I guess I'm really not needed here.
Right.
But I mean, that's not to say that, like, sometimes we'll be talking and it's kind of like, oh my gosh, what was the name of that show? Or who was that actor?
Sure.
So you'll get out your phone, you'll look it up, or you got a question, so you'll Google it. But the other thing is to make sure that every day you have positive, meaningful conversation.
Yeah.
And reinforce that emotional intimacy. Because relationships aren't just about the physical side, it's also the emotional side.
Mm-hmm.
And so these are the little things that we can do by making time.
Right.
That strengthen that relationship, putting deposits in that account.
Yeah. I think that talking is so important. I think it's so important that as a male, I'm probably unusually interested in the talking.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Whereas my wife is unusually disinterested in the talking.
Mm-hmm. Not sure.
It's very, I find it to be very odd, although maybe it's more normal than I think. But because I'm always telling her, just let it out. She's like, well, I don't know how to say it. It might offend you. And I'm like, just say it. Like, I've been with you for 35 years. I'm not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. Nothing's going to happen, right? So just say it. And so let's hear it, get it out, get it off your chest, and she will. And most of the time, it's something that doesn't hit very hard at all, and that she just needs to feel better by saying it. And so, I think that the talking is so important. Like, to find some time and space, if not daily, like weekly, just to talk. Like, how's your week going? What's been happening in your life? Because we both have jobs, and while we are in the same types of career, it's different. Mm-hmm. And it has different stresses, and I don't know what goes on there, and she doesn't know what goes on where I'm at. And so, having that discussion, I think, is important, so that we have an understanding and are able to connect back to that emotional awareness. So having some us time to do that is important. And a lot of times that comes I have a particular evening routine where I want to read at night before I go to bed, or while I'm in bed before I go to sleep. And so, but oftentimes that'll get interrupted by let's talk, right? But I think that's more important. Well, I think it's more important than my own desire to read, and so I put the book down. When we're done, I'll read. I got no problem with that, but I think it's important to have that communication. I mean, if you're not having communication, are you really in a relationship?
And I think that's one of the big points here, is that by having this us time, where we are visiting, while we are talking, we're talking about our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, but more importantly, our experiences and our goals. And by doing that, we're opening ourselves up a little. We're showing a little vulnerability, which leads to greater intimacy.
Yeah. And I think that goals thing is really important too, right? Like dreaming. I know that when you start a relationship, there's all kinds of dreams, right, about where this thing is going. You don't want to stop that. You want to keep dreaming. The dreams just adjust as you go because you achieve some of them. And so I think that's super important. Like, if you want to keep this thing alive, you have to go back to trying to have some of those same feelings and some of those same conversations and some of those same concerns that you had at the beginning when it was exciting. And then it will remain exciting.
And that's kind of the whole point. And that end of the day stuff that you were talking about, allows you to address small issues early.
Absolutely.
It allows you to have that, be able to express your gratitude to each other.
Yeah.
And you can close that day. I mean, I start every morning with, hey, good morning, and it's a kiss. It's, hey, I'm going to go sleep now. Good night with a kiss. These are, you're creating these bonds that allow, again, it's small things, it's little things, but it lets your spouse, your partner know that, hey, you are important to me.
But you have to be real in between.
It's shouldn't just be habit, and it shouldn't just be words. There should be intent and meaning.
I just get to, there's nobody on this planet that knows me the way that Eileen knows me.
Yeah.
There just isn't.
Well,
and I would say the same, right? Like, I know her better than anybody else has or will, like even her parents. And I think that that's important. That shows an intimacy level that is deep.
Well, with 35 years together, you've grown up together. You have engaged in life together more with each other than with any other person.
Right.
And so, as a result, this can either make things better or make things worse.
Right.
But the little things that we do, I think, and this is where I do it more intentionally with Sherry, and I think she does it more intentionally with me than either of us did in Marriage 1.0.
Right.
Because I think we both got, well, I won't speak for her. I can speak only for me. I got lazy. I got complacent.
Yeah.
And it led to a widening gap that led to the divorce.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like I say, these a healthy relationship is built on or through daily habits.
Sure.
And it sounds like you and Eileen do a lot of these, and which helps explain, ta-da, 35 years together, and she's not sick of you yet.
I mean, not yet, but we'll see.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. You have helped reinforce what both research and psychology has suggested.
Yeah.
So we've tested a theory, and it's come up, thumbs up, positive, green light, whatever you want to call it. Because here, again, at the end of the day, it's all about intentionality.
Yeah, you definitely can't go wrong by doing these things. And it will improve relationship from wherever you're at.
Because it's deposits in that relationship.
And this is intentional, right? Like, I mean, I wish I had read this article or heard this podcast, 30 years ago. Probably a lot of things would have been more simple. For us, it just comes as experience and growing together and learning those things that allow us to operate in that kind of symbiotic relationship where we can help each other and we, have spaces and we respect those spaces, but we also have togetherness. And so it just flows at this point. For the most part, it's pretty easy. But unless you try it, how would you know?
Thank you. It's kind of like Mikey in the Life cereal commercial. Mikey likes it, so try it.
Yeah, everything that becomes natural has to be intentional to begin with.
Exactly. Again, it's not about perfection. It's just about working on it. So, all right. Well, then we'll call it a day. I'm good to go. So, until next time, I'm Rod.
I'm Scott.
See ya.